What you think is important to women in terms of attractiveness is what you'll focus on when you're interacting with them. So, for example, if a guy thinks that the most important thing to women is a man's physical appearance, then that is what he'll be focusing on. Before he interacts with a woman, he'll be thinking, do I look good enough for a woman like her? And if he happens to interact with her, he'll be thinking, does she like my physical appearance? And as a result, he'll never be a self-assured man. He'll never have what I call independent confidence, where you are confident regardless of how people are behaving around you. On the other hand, when a man knows, and it's only a very small percentage of men who know this because it's very difficult for men to believe, right? But if a man knows that the most attractive thing to a woman at the top of the list is a man's confidence, and he is confident when he's interacting with a woman, then he's going to be feeling good about himself. He's going to be thinking, yeah, I'm attractive to this woman because I'm confident. And as a result, she's going to be looking at him and sensing his confidence, right? It's going to be that self-assured confidence. She's going to sense that he has that belief in himself, that he feels worthy of her, that he feels good enough for her. He's not a guy who is hoping that she's going to approve of him. He's a guy who is self-approving. He has that self-assuredness that women look for in men. And I have an interesting story to share with you about this. When I was good with women already, right? I'd figured it out. I'd written my book, The Flow, and I'd picked up loads of women. I was hanging out with one of Stu's friends named Andrew. Stu is one of the coaches from The Modern Man, and Andrew features in our program Confessions of a Natural. Here's a little free sample of the interview we did with Andrew in Confessions of a Natural, so you can get a sense of him before I talk about him further. We referred to each particular natural that we interviewed with a label, and we labeled Andrew as the funny guy, yet his confidence around women is something else altogether, which I'll tell you about later on. I just want to warn you though to be patient as you're listening to this short clip, because Andrew is someone who breaks the rules. One of the quote-unquote rules is that you got to have a strong, confident voice. Yet when you hear Andrew speak, you'll notice that sometimes he lowers his voice, and sometimes it seems like he's rambling on a bit. Yet this is a guy who is naturally good with women, and I've seen him make beautiful women melt in his presence. I've seen him effortlessly pick up beautiful women. This guy gets it.
Absolutely. You'd be surprised at how a basic day-to-day event can change your life and lead to something far deeper. For example, I was buying cigarettes at a nightclub one night, and the machine was faulty, and a girl came along wanting to buy cigarettes, and she put her money in and it got jammed, and I said my money got jammed too, and we started talking about it, and I said we really need to fix this, and we went about reporting it to the bar staff, and we both punched the machine and kicked the machine together, and we struck up a friendship. You know, probably because I, looking back on it, said things that were a little bit unique and a little bit different, and I would have said things like, I'm very angry with this machine. Can you help me beat it up because you look tough? And we just sort of had quite a bit of fun bashing the machine together. So when we eventually got our cigarettes out, because we were determined and focused, we went off and had a cigarette together. And she ended up being my girlfriend for about a year and a half. She no longer smokes and I'm no longer with her.
Okay, so now let's get back to the story where I said I was hanging out with one of Stu's friends named Andrew. Andrew was a smoker at that time. And when he talked to a guy, right, if he's talking to you or if he talks to a woman, he tends to be a bit of a close talker, right? He gets pretty much up in your face and you can smell his smoker's breath, right? It wasn't good at all. And the thing is, if you go out there and look online about what a guy needs to do to be attractive, you'll see, go to the gym, make sure that your breath always smells perfectly clean and fresh, wear great clothes and all that sort of stuff. And the thing is, those things are attractive to women. Those things can make a guy be attractive to women. Yet Andrew went against all of that, because not only did he have that strong smoker's breath because he was always smoking, but he was a close talker, right? He got up a bit too close in people's faces, and he tended to ramble on a bit when he was talking. He just started talking about things and just felt like he could be talking about it and people should listen. So people just listened to him. And the interesting thing was when I saw him interacting with beautiful women, right? This guy isn't tall. He isn't a good looking guy. He's about the same as me, 5'9", right? And when I saw him interacting with beautiful women, I saw them melt in his presence. They became locked almost in a trance of attraction, right? They just zoned in on him. It was really interesting for me to see, because another thing that he did, which goes against what guys are supposed to do, right? When you hear basic dating coaches out there who haven't actually coached guys in person, they say things like, make sure you have good posture and you're not doing this sort of thing. I took new guys out to approach women every weekend for 3 years, and I never had a client come along who had posture like this. The guys who learn this stuff are mostly just normal guys, right? But when you hear basic dating coaches out there who just go online and look on blogs for tips to give guys, they say, oh, posture and so forth. And then they say, oh, guys, make sure you're not doing this. No one's doing that. Yet Andrew's posture wasn't perfect, right? He wasn't standing upright with shoulders back, chin up a bit like someone like Stu, right? He has that sort of posture. Whereas Andrew just talked in a more relaxed way. His shoulders were just relaxed, not even trying to maintain eye contact all the time, just talking to women and just being absolutely confident in his belief that she will feel attracted to him and she will like him. And the thing that Andrew has that a lot of naturals have, and I personally developed in myself because I didn't have, but I developed it, is that he has independent confidence, right? He doesn't need the woman to be giving him signals and approving of him and making comments about his appearance, saying, oh, I like your shirt, or blah, 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 or what he does for a living. He doesn't need any of that in order to feel absolutely 100% confident and believe that he's worthy of the woman. He doesn't need it at all. And she can sense that he's not looking at her hoping that she gives him cues, right? He's absolutely 100% confident and sure of himself without needing to be showy about it, without needing to be like, yeah, well, you know, I'm Andrew sort of thing, and like, hey, look at me, I'm so confident. He's just like looking down sometime, looking around, talking to the woman, getting up close to her, sometimes like that with his smoker's breath, and the woman is smiling, she's loving him, he puts his arm around her, and the next thing, they're kissing. Right, so what I want you to understand is that the way that you think has a direct effect on the way that you will then behave and the way that women will perceive you. For example, I remember a guy commented on one of my videos where I was talking about how guys don't feel like they're good enough yet for women. They've got to do all these things like get a better car, get a house, move to a better area, get muscles, do their hair in a certain way and so forth. And then one day they'll be good enough for women. And the guy commented that he related to mistake number one in the video, in that in order to feel good enough for attractive women, he now needs to have an investment property, right? So imagine that guy interacting with an attractive woman. Imagine his body language, the subtleties in his body language, the subtleties in how he's talking to her. She'll pick up on it in his words that he doesn't feel good enough for her. He doesn't feel worthy, that he's hoping she's going to approve of him. He's not a self-assured man. He needs reassurance from women that he's good enough. He's not a self-assured man. And by the way, I'll quickly mention here that the best technique I ever developed to be 100% self-assured and display the sort of confidence that automatically attracts women is at the start of the section on confidence in my book, The Flow, which you can also listen to as an audiobook. This gives you the type of confidence that naturals have. Women find it irresistible, and best of all, it makes you feel great. You feel at ease, you feel confident, you feel comfortable, you feel worthy of the women that you meet. So the thing is, as I said at the start of the video, what you think is important to women is what you'll focus on. And if a guy thinks that his physical appearance is the most important thing, and he's a really good looking guy, that can help him, but it can also hurt him. Because on days where he doesn't feel like he looks that good, right, he's not wearing certain clothes, or he hasn't worked out, or he just thinks that his skin doesn't look good, or whatever it may be, his haircut, he will see an attractive woman and he'll have the thought of, oh, I don't look that good today. As a result, he is restricted, right? He is restricted to times where he thinks that he looks good enough for a particular woman. And if he happens to be interacting with a woman that he finds attractive on a day where he doesn't think he looks attractive, then she will pick up on the subtleties of his body language and what he's saying and determine herself that something isn't quite right. There's something up there with his confidence. It doesn't seem that he is truly self-assured. Whereas someone like myself who knows that I'm only average looking, right? So it's not my thing to get women to go over and say, hey, look at me, I'm Dan. You know, look how handsome I am, right? They're not amazed by my physical appearance. So it's someone like me, I know that confidence will attract women by default, whether they want to feel attracted to you or not, right? They'll feel that attraction, they'll feel that spark. And if you know how to keep the conversation going and move things forward, you'll get a result. And it's interesting because one time I did a joint seminar with another dating company who has since closed, and I did my speech and they gave me the footage of that, which was great, and I used that in one of my programs, Alpha Male Power. But what was interesting is that they cut out the part where I was telling the audience about me going out on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon and just wearing track pants and a t-shirt and not focusing on my appearance at all, and going out and getting numbers of girls who are working as cashiers, waitresses, and so forth, just going out there and doing that. And they cut it out because a previous section that they had talked about was that you have to put in loads of effort to your physical appearance and make sure that you're wearing the best clothes if you go out approaching. I didn't know that because when they were doing their speech, I went outside and I came back in and someone told me that I'd said something that was the opposite of what they were just talking about. But the thing is, it's the truth. If you're one of the guys who know that you can make women feel attracted by default based on your confidence, then you don't have to worry about the other things. It's great to look good. Right? When I was going out to approach and pick up women in bars and so forth, I didn't wear the best clothes, but I thought I looked fairly good enough, right? I got a leather jacket on, or I got some sort of shirt or whatever. I mean, I could have put some more effort into what I was wearing, but I just didn't focus on that. I focused on attracting women with confidence, with charm, with charisma, with humor, and so on. So the thing is, a lot of guys out there just won't ever believe that they can attract women with their confidence. They'll hold on to what they've heard random women say in the media, or some random blog, or some random dating coach or whatever say, you know, work out, make sure you wear moisturizer, put on a cologne, wear brand name clothes and all that sort of stuff. Make sure you got all that going, and don't do this with your posture, right? It's all about your physical appearance. Make sure that you're looking your best. And the thing is, it's great to look your best. But if a guy looks good and he's nervous and insecure around a woman, she's not going to feel attracted to him. She's going to feel turned off by him. So you've got to understand this about confidence, this mindset shift that you can have in your life will make you irresistible to women, and so effortlessly. It's just something that goes with you everywhere. When you're interacting with a waitress, when you're interacting with a girl at a bar, when you're interacting with your girlfriend or wife, you have that independent confidence that women look for, and they feel naturally attracted to, and they place more importance on than anything else. And the thing is, I know that it's hard for some guys to believe, but if you've ever seen guys who are naturally good with women and who don't look that good, just try to remember how they were behaving around women. Just try to remember what was coming through in their body language and how they were talking to women. You will almost certainly realize that they had this type of confidence that I want to teach you, I want to give to you, I want you to have, because it changes everything.